Our senior correspondent, John Miller, is here. He is a former deputy director of national intelligence. John, good morning.
Good morning.
Why is this taking so long?
Well, that's not an accident, and that's not being driven by authorities. That's being driven by the terrorists. Had they gone in, Charlie, and blown up themselves as suicide bombers after exhausting their ammunition on the first day, this would have been a one-day story in a faraway place, especially here in the West. The idea of going in and borrowing basically the tactics, techniques, and procedures from the Mumbai attacks, which lasted 3 days, and stretching it out means they not only hold hostages and they hold ground. Here's the key. They're holding world attention. They are a global focus for 4 days, and that's the real goal. If they can stretch this to 5, they would do it.
Our Dean Reynolds has been reporting from outside Minneapolis, Minnesota, right here in the United States, where there's a jihadist pipeline where the FBI says more than 20 Americans have gone over to Mogadishu. As early as 13 weeks ago, they believe, or 13 days ago. Why is that happening, that the U.S. is a recruiting ground for this group?
Well, this is something that we discovered in the FBI back in 2009 going into 2010. There was a young man named Shirwa Ahmed who was a suicide bomber in Somalia, and when it turned out he was a U.S. citizen from Minneapolis, that took everybody by surprise. We started peeling back the layers, and we found a network of fundraisers, of recruiters, of travel arrangers who had started this pipeline, and it's been going on since. It's been real engagement by the Minneapolis Police Department, the police in St. Paul, the U.S. Attorney's Office there, and in a number of other cities to engage the Somali community and get to this counter-narrative.
So the next obvious question seems to be, if there's such a strong group to recruit from already in the United States, are we concerned about them carrying out attacks here at home?
The real concern is that they get trained over there, trained as suicide bombers, trained in tactics and shooting, and that they're under the radar, meaning we don't know they got there, and that they find their way back, and that is a concern. If you look at the increased security yesterday here in Penn Station, some of the things that my old counterterrorism bureau under Mike Downing was doing in Los Angeles yesterday, you know in the back of their mind they're thinking, is there a companion piece for a domestic attack here from the same network? And
a new element that may be developing is whether some of these terrorists in Kenya were women. This suggestion, as Charlie just reported, the White Widow. What about that?
Okay, that would be a surprise, but it wouldn't be a first. This was a technique pioneered by the Chechens during the Beslan school attack, where they used the women in their burqas and baggy clothes to smuggle in explosives, long weapons, and so on. These are people whose husbands were killed in the fighting and who were told that you too can be martyrs and rejoin your husbands in paradise if you die for the cause.
All right, John Miller, thank you.